Save it for the show. All we wanna do is chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. Save it for the show.
Because people didn't concentrate before in somehow trying to have a musical or a auditory um, representation of their angst, of their anxiety, of their depression. There's never been that. You spoke of
Well, the blues spoke of that. The blues really
no, no, no,
spoke
no, 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 no.
of
That was
that was society.
but
That was societal.
that was described in long form long form um, uh, verbal expression. I'm saying
Still a
sound.
sound. It's still a sound, man. Characteristics.
You're not getting what I'm saying. You listen to Hendrix, and the reason he got those screeches and those hums and those growls and those drops and all of that, that was an emotional expression. Far apart from being happy or sad. Those expressions created a whole new depth of expression. Just listen to it, because listening to it by itself is not necessarily musical, but you listen to it in the context of an organized sound, it then becomes musical. And that's the difference. He's taking a piece of his own personal disrupted, kind of a disrupted enjoyment or fulfillment of life, and dropping it into a musical piece. That's what he did with his guitar, with those effects, with the overdrive and the old and just the wall of sound that he started to create, because it was not really music that he was making. It was an expression of what he felt inside that was non-musical.
And that's why you can't thoroughly copy it, because you're not feeling what.
Because you're not you're not feeling. You're right. You're not feeling it.
They're not. They don't have the same. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get to where you can get to say, how does this person feel when they play?
Right. So in other words, he can show you what he did with the whammy bar. Yeah, he can show you what he's doing physically.
He can't show you how he can't. They can actually talk about how they were feeling.
Right.
But it's hard to. That's to me that's a long grasp, because everybody feels things differently.
Exactly. Exactly.
Unless a person has experience, like, we lost our parents. I know how that feels. You know how that feels. So whenever we talk about that, I know how he feels, man. And you say, I know how he feels too. It's a different thing. It's like, okay, we can talk about it. We can actually, what's the word I'm looking at? Compare or we kind of know what it is. We know that feeling. We know that loss.
We know that we know the cause of the disruption. Right. We know the cause of the disruption.
Right. So if you go to your instrument, I go to my instrument, we can actually, in our own ways, play something that's how we feel. We can do that. We can, okay, man, I'm feeling how the loss of my parents. Okay, I can play that. This is how I feel. Now, another person that hasn't experienced that, right? I don't think they can get into that deeply. You know what I'm saying? So just like these other guys, I mean, like Charlie Parker, people try to copy him all the time. They even said, man, they couldn't play like him. They couldn't do that. So they said, well, it must be, him shooting dope. So they went to do that. They drank, whatever like that. But they still couldn't do it. I mean, there's one guy, Lee Collins, he just passed not too long ago.
Is that the one they called Red? Is that the one they refer to as Red, or he had like Red?
Red's a trumpet player.
Oh, okay.
It's a very interesting story about that dude. But this other guy's an alto player like Charlie Parker, and he's good. Lee Combs was good. He was like in the birth of the cool days, you know. So they grew up in the 40s, man. That's when they were in their 20s, you know, and everybody. Charlie Parker was the hottest thing out when it popped, when it caught on, you know. And he said that he said Parker was somewhere and he said he needed a horn or something like that, and so he let him use his horn, and he was saying that, you know, he's saying that Charlie Parker, he was kind of sad, and he asked him about that. He said, well, you know, all these guys that are trying to play like me and this and that, they don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? They don't know where it's coming from, you know, but they're trying to copy it. And, you know, he was like one of the ones copying, but he didn't let him know. He said, well, I'm not doing that. He said, yeah, you know, you got to be your own person. You know, you got to be your own thing. You got to do your own thing.
Learn the rule, master the rule before you break the rule.
You got a lot of guys out there that self-taught, man, and, you know, they ain't following the rules too much.
Well, which again leads to new things coming about. A lot of things came about, people not even knowing about rules, but just
Exactly.
picking something up and starting to make sound, making sense out of it, making it mean something or say something, which then blossoms into something new. That's the experience.
But don't you believe this, though? It's about sound. It's about vibration of the sound that makes you jump. Like when I listen to the Isley Brothers.
Oh man, you had to bring them up again.
I had to bring them up, bro, because I've been listening to them the last week and a half or so. Ever since the songs of summer. You should have never had them on. But it's the sound of it, man. It's not even what they're playing. It's the sound of it.
You're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me because we've experienced that. There's key moments that you and I have experienced that in live situations, from auditoriums to 5,000 seaters, to outdoor venues, to just small little clubs. We've experienced that, from Wild Cherry to the LA, what was it called? LA street scene.
LA street scene at the beach. We were at the beach scene too.
At the beach scene, Palmer. What was his name? Why is his name escaping me right now? What's his name? Palmer. Come on.
Yeah.
Robert Palmer. Robert Palmer. To missing persons, and listen to just listen to me, you know, kind of like just talk about these bands. They're all different.
Remember HBO had the specials on long time years ago. My dad had HBO, man, and they used to broadcast, they do simulcast on radio, right? And I remember when David Bowie, he was doing the what it called, Serious Moonlight tour. Man, oh my goodness. I mean, they were advertising this, so I was ready to go. And I put my cassette tape in and got it on the radio, man, and had it on the TV. But I was playing the sound through the stereo. Man, I never heard anything like that, dude. That sound, dude. And I got that tape around here, it's cassette around here somewhere, man. But I'm going to just buy they got the DVD out on that. I guess gotta find which one it was. But man, the sound, dude. It's the sound, man.
It's the sound.
When I hear the Isley Brothers, it's the sound.
It's the sound.
They're not playing anything outlandish. I mean, some of the stuff is different, you know.
We went to the Stagecoach in San Juan,
San
was it
Juan.
San Juan Capistrano? Remember we saw Stanley. It was the sound. It
Yeah.
was the sound.
Sound, bro. Well,
Mi-
it's the sound. Sound that makes you jump. It's the sound that vibrates in you to say, "Oh, okay, mother's finest."
Remember that? We
Yeah.
looked at each other in the middle of the crowd. We were like near the front center. We looked at each other and said, "It's the sound," and it was like the sound. It's the sound.
Mother's
Oh.
finest.
Oh,
Oh
my.
my God.
Oh.
God. Oof.
Inside. Oh, that girl's voice, man. It's like, oh.
Still going, man. They're out here. They live out here. They were at Georgia Tech not too long. Well, it could have been a couple of years ago. I don't know. They got. They don't have Tracy in them no more.
Spacey Tracy. Yeah, I think he's just teaching now.
Yeah, he's But they got some videos of him when it was over in Europe. I think over in Germany. He's playing with them. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check into that for sure.
I remember a long time ago, man. I went out when I was in California. You know, that's a long time ago now. Way a long time ago. I went out to see them because the guy that wrote the contemporary keyboards, I met him, John Novello. But anyway, I went out to this place. It wasn't even a fancy place, okay? It was in Malibu. And it could have been like maybe a birthday party or some kind of bash, something like it was an event, more or less. And it was in Malibu, and it was the club wasn't wide, it was long. It was like one of those kind of tunnel kind of places. And they were there. That's when I first met her. And they had a chick playing keyboard. She was good too. She was good. She was kind of disappointed because when I was talking to her, she was saying that they would have this guy, John Novello, take her place, and she wasn't too happy about that. But I met, well, I forgot their names now, the husband and wife team there. I've forgotten their names. But they were real cool, man. Oh, man, they were really nice people, man, you know. They threw down, dude. I mean, Spacey Tracy was not with them on that gig.
Yeah, I think he was probably with his original band probably back then.
Yeah, he probably was with his original band back then. But, man, dude, oh my God, man, I just thinking about that now. It's like, that was an experience, brother. We saw him at the Roxy, and we couldn't believe it, you know? Because remember when the metal stuff first, you know, when the Black Cats started getting to the metal, that turned the whole groove around, man.
We're having an earthquake.
Oh my gosh.
Shaking right now. Shaking. Felt like an aftershock, but a long aftershock, kind of. Still kind of, wait a minute. No, is it over? Hold on.
All right.
Okay. Hopefully that's it. Which brings me back. That reminds me. You remember earthquake? Remember? We talked about a lot of people, and you know I'm a bass player first. Remember Larry Graham's tune "Earthquake"? Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to bring it up. I just had to bring it up, man, because it's like, you see, dude, I think we've seen the best of this age. We've experienced the best of this age. When I say this age, I mean from maybe the 1500s on.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the best.
Yeah. I remember seeing Prince, dude, when he first came out at the Coliseum. He opened up for the Stones.
Oh, really? You went to that gig?
Yeah, me and Claudia was at that gig.
So I heard that. Well, he got booed, right?
It wasn't like that, man. You know, he kind of threw a little tantrum, but it was just people never heard that before. But he was kind of getting into that. I guess he was pushed to do that, or maybe he said, "Well, I'm gonna just do this." his sound wasn't there yet because he was just coming out. It was the first album. He was just coming out with that. With that style coming into that. Of course, he developed it down the road. It got bigger.
That wasn't his
But
first. Correction. That was not his first album, man. That was.
no, that was his first album, dude. That was the blue one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was his first album. He had the long hair. Yeah, he was living. He was. I think he was living. In Hollywood.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Uh huh. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that was his coming out for that album. I mean,
Oh, okay.
maybe the sound guys didn't do him justice. Well, this cat, whatever. But to me, I liked it. I mean, I liked it. I didn't know Prince then, but of course, he blew up after
Yeah,
that. I think
yeah.
that pushing. But then again, you have the Stones came out. Now, how simple is that music? But it's the sound, dude.
Well, I don't
It's
even
the
know.
sound.
I don't even know if it was the sound. Now you're talking about. We mentioned during one of the episodes, and I think it was the favorite, your favorite songs that remind you of summer episode, um, where you said someone had mentioned, or you had mentioned that people were telling you that the Isley Brothers were more of a studio.
Yeah, somebody. This is way back in the day. Well, man, they don't sound like they do, in live like they do in the studio. Then I said, bro, I said 1975, Omni Theater in Atlanta, bro. I was here, okay? I was here. The Isley Brothers were the headline. They had Confunction.
Brass
Uh,
Construction, Confunction.
yeah, and they had BT Express.
Yep,
They
that
had
sounds that
those
sounds
two.
about right.
Confunction. It was Confunction, and it was BT Express, and it was the Isley Brothers. Okay, you know. Let me tell you, man. When the Isley Brothers came out there, the Heat Is On album was on. That was when they had, of course they did. They had to do their old song, but that was when they had "For the Love of You," "Heat Is On." They had another one out, a couple other fast ones out there on that particular album on the first side, because part one, part two. Part one was the fast stuff, and then the slow stuff was on part two of the album, the second side. Dude, man, the sound, bro. I don't care what anybody says. It's the sound. They sounded like the record, except when Chris Jasper took his right hand up to do the solos on that Moog, on that Moog over there. That's the only time you really notice that. Okay, it dropped out a little bit on the keyboard end, but it had to. You know what I'm saying? He don't have three hands.
Yeah,
It's the
that's right.
sound, brother. It's the sound. It's the product, whatever. I heard him on that. I heard when Go For Your Guns came out. I saw him again. The same thing, bro. These cats, these cats are some different dudes, man. Now you could say you could have had some cats in the back. He said they had a guitar player in the back. I didn't
Yeah.
notice that, dude. I really didn't hear that when I heard him in '75 when they did the slow songs and when they did even the fast songs. Okay, I did not. If there was a second guitar player there, I don't know. Man, he must have blended in with Ernie. I don't know. I really don't. But I didn't miss it, and it sounded good. That Fender Rhodes sound, the bass, the drums. They had to me, it's the drums sounded better live than they did on the record. Okay, you know how they sound on the record. Okay, the drums were better mixed live than what was on the
Well,
record.
because I'm
Okay,
sure the drummer was playing, was adding to what was
he
played on the
was,
record too,
he
you know.
was.
Because
But
because
the
the
bass,
records, the drums are just straight ahead, they were just
right,
holding it down, you know.
right, right.
But I know we kind of segue back to the Isley Brothers, but the point I was
Sound.
trying to yes, the sound, the point I was trying to make. Jesus Christ. Okay. The humanity. Um, uh, the point I was trying to make was that if there's a band and some people may get upset, may totally disagree, may throw their hands up and tear off their toupees and throw them to the ground and stomp on them. But my point is, if there was ever a band that came off more like a studio band,
Mm-hmm.
was the Rolling Stones to me.
It's the who?
The Rolling Stones. Yeah, you mentioned the Rolling Stones. And I'm saying to you that they were the most laziest, most off bands that I think I had ever really experienced when it comes to them playing live and reproducing their song. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the Rolling Stones from like the 80s on. Now, if
Yeah,
they could have been,
I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
I doubt, what may have happened in the 70s and the 60s may have been different. But until they started trading out sidemen for some of their original band members, they were sloppy as shit.
Yeah,
Sloppy as shit.
yeah. But yeah, they were. But again, it's the sound. It's the sound, brother. And I mean, I saw them when they had the original Cats. At least I think maybe I switched out one of the guitar players from from the '60s, but I can't remember now. But they had the main guy, Keith Richards, and Charlie Waits on the drums. That guy's a good jazz drummer too, by the way. I forgot the bass player's name. And they had Mick Jagger up there. But man, it's the sound, brother. And those cats, very foundational cats. But it's the sound. And what's in the Daryl Jones played with them.
That's what I'm talking about. When they started with the addition to Daryl Jones,
Mm-hmm. And they got another drummer.
they got another. Yeah, they got. Did they get another? Yeah, I guess eventually they did.
And then they get another guitar player as well. They switched out guitar players. So the lead guitar player stayed Keith Richards, but they had the second guitar player.
No. Keith Richards Keith Richards didn't play solos. He was the rhythm guitar player.
He wasn't. I thought he played the solo.
No, he wasn't the main solo guy. No, it was what's his name? I can't remember his name, but it was the other.
Yeah, I see his face in my head.
Yeah, but that he was he was the designated soloist.
I think they switched him out though, man. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not for sure. I can't say, but I know the bass player quit. He retired, and then Charlie Watts, he passed away. I think he had retired too.
Mm-hmm.
And then he passed,
But yeah. So I mean, I that was my impression of them. Now, did they have antics? Did I like watching them on TV? Absolutely.
yeah, man.
Absolutely. They were entertaining. They were outrageous. They were rule breakers. They straddled the line on a lot of stuff. That was their calling card. Okay.
That's it.
They were the anti-Beatles. They were the opposite.
Yeah.
They weren't the prim and proper Beatles. In their matching suits and all that. So I can respect that.
Another group we forgot to mention. I know there's a lot of, but I know we both experienced them. That's U2, man.
Well, I think a bit overrated. I like their approach. I mean, I like their approach because I like the way it was, the whole rhythm, the whole slapback delay kind of rhythm guitar, how all their songs were kind of built on that. I like that and how they were able to stick with that and actually make it work. I like
sound, brother. It's the sound. Man.
I saw them at the Coliseum. Yes, I did. I don't think we
I
were together on that
about
gig.
it too.
Huh?
I remember you told me about that too.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now the sound was, I mean, come on, it's the Coliseum. The sound was humongous, right? The sound was humongous, And yes, the guitar, I mean, the delay and the slap back and the ping ponging effects, and I mean, it was spectacular, just like the record. Um, and the vocals were definitely on point. So yeah, it was a great experience. It was the sound. They're just not the type of band I would think of immediately.
Mhm.
Um, but like I said, for that particular niche that they kind of took up, and they had really good songs too. So they had really really good songs, and I think that was the real driving force with them, was the singer, and that they had really really good songs. It wasn't that they had to have those particular players to play the song. Now, some people may argue. I don't necessarily think that bass player and the Edge really were were irreplaceable. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I just think they had really good songs built around, um, again, the delayed guitar and the lead singer's voice. I'm sorry. Why am I forgetting his name? What's his name?
The lead singer,
Yeah, what's his name?
Bono.
Bono. Yeah, Bono. Excuse me. So it was definitely, the producers or the record companies really saw that, okay, we have the guitar and the voice, and we're going to build songs around those two things. And I think it was just stupendous because the songs were greater than the guitar playing and or the vocalist to me. They were just good
Well, again,
songs.
again, again, you pointed out something. It's the sound, bro.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be a great player. If you
No.
got a sound, if
No.
you got a sound that people can gravitate towards, that can hit them and they can feel something with that, then that's all you need.
Man,
You know what I'm
if we
saying?
if we depended on everyone that played had to be like super great players, there have never been a music store or Guitar Center or Nadine's. Those that may be listening may not know about Nadine's, but because it was such a local band, but I mean a local music store. But yeah, there'd be no need. There would be no music instrument manufacturers, no major ones, if everything depended upon that. So we'll put that to bed and to rest right now. Not everyone's going to be super great, but
No.
everyone can be great contributors.
And come up with a sound.
Yes.
That's I mean, of course you got people that copy. You got copy bands, that copy, that copy artists and stuff like making live. I know a couple people doing that. They're making a living off of, one guy I know, he plays a Chicago tribute band, they call him Chi-Town. They call themselves Chi-Town. They play all over the damn Midwest and South and the East, man.
Yeah.
They're making a gang of cash, man.
Oh yeah. There's several groups. I mean, there's international groups going around,
Yeah,
doing that sort of thing. Laura
yeah.
and I went to one last winter. Look. Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line to this last hour of conversation and possibly the hour prior to that. Here's the thing. It comes down to three things. I'm going to name two of them, and you'll give me the third.
I'll see if I can do it.
First, there's three things that really sum it all up when you boil it down. Nothing would exist without the one.
Okay.
Two, I mean, we talked about this earlier. You'll never fully be able to imitate another artist. But will people say, "Wow, I don't miss Charlie Parker anymore because we have this guy playing just like him"? No, that will never happen. I guess what we can the real takeaways here, at least for us, and hopefully for those who are listening, but for us, there's three things to take from this. Is that one, nothing would exist without the one. hats off to James Brown for giving us that. Two is that you'll never replace the original. And what I mean by that is no matter how you learn someone's playing style, their songs, their instrument, the way they dress, the way they walk, the way they talk, whatever, will never be a replacement for that actual artist. Reasonable facsimile, yes, but never a replacement. That person will still be missed. And I'm going to leave the third one to you because I'm sure you know what it is. So go ahead and hit me with what the third takeaway from this hour and 9 minute long conversation that started with, I think we covered Beethoven, we covered Dizzy Gillespie. Who else? Duke Ellington. Yeah. So it started off, and I don't know if we captured all of this, but it started off not comparison, but saying that Beethoven and Duke Ellington are the two greatest musicians, composers, pianists of our age, of either age. They're the two. They're the go-to.
Right, and it's because of their volume of work.
What's the third thing, though, man? I named the first two.
Thing, it's the sound, brother. If you don't have a sound to move people, you don't have it. You gotta have a sound. That's the most important thing. We brought up the Isley Brothers. It's the sound. That music is not complicated, but it's the sound.
It's the sound.
It's how they put it together. You listen to a Duke Ellington. It's this. Well, he has some complex stuff, but it's the sound. He made instruments sound like no other instrument. His band was like no other instrument at the band. His band was not like any other band at the time.
Right.
He set a different trend. Same with Beethoven. It's the sound, how he combines notes together and how he arranged his strings and his horn sections and all of the sections, that how he puts together and creates a sound.
Right.
It's the sound, man.
All right.
That's from the heart. I'm not just saying it to say it. It's the sound. It's how I feel, man. If you don't have it, you don't have it. And we heard what that was like when we was at the beach scene. I can't remember what year, but you know what I'm talking about.
The beach scene, LA street scene, the troubadour, the Coach House, the
Roxy,
the Wiltern Theater.
Two incidents. Well, we just said, wow. That was at the beach scene when we saw Missing Persons.
Oh my gosh.
And at the Wiltern when we saw Robert Palmer.
Oh my goodness.
That was it, man. And for me, it was David Bowie on HBO Special. Okay. I can point to those three and say, wow, what an experience.
I'm going to have to add one to that, man. I got to add one to that we both experienced. You cannot not leave this one out. But they definitely have made their mark. They made a footprint. They were ahead of their time. They're ahead of their time. And that is Mother's Finest. That concert, and I think that was it at the Troubadour or was it at the Roxy? Which one was it?
That was at the Roxy.
That was at the Roxy. Man,
we couldn't believe that, bro. We couldn't believe that at all. I mentioned I saw them down in Malibu. Same thing. The hall was a little bit different. It wasn't wide like the Roxy, angular wide kind of thing. It was more tunnel. But man, oh my gosh, it's the sound, man. It's the sound. You gotta have a sound, brother.
I think that was the first time, because that was before Robert Palmer, I think.
Yeah, I think that was what was.
I think that was before the street scene, yeah? No.
No, that wasn't before. That was after. That was after.
But that really drove the point home to me when you said that. When
Yeah.
you said that then, then I said, okay, I really get what you mean by it's the sound, man. It's the sound.
Well, I'll say this too. I saw Sly and the Family Stone. I think it was at the Forum. No, it was at yeah, it was at one was at the Forum. I don't think Sly showed up for that gig. But the other one was smaller. It was a smaller. It was a smaller venue. I think it was at like where was that? I can't. I don't know. Sunset Play. I think was that the Palladium. I think it was the Palladium.
Now you know why.
Yeah.
Now you know why Larry Graham exited stage right, huh?
Yeah, it was sad, man. But that gig I saw, man, when he showed up, that was a big sound, bro. Those guys had a so. Of course, Larry Graham, he could fill it up, but that was a good gig, man. That was a very good gig. They were thumping, man. They were thumping on that, and they were doing this. I think that album was the one that had Family Affair on it. I think that was the one.
Wow.
That I remember that. Yeah, man. I think Graham was still. I think Graham was still with him.
Well, here's the thing. We could probably go on with this for another 3 or 4 hours, but we're going to go ahead and close it out right about now. We want to thank everyone that was listening to the podcast, and as we always look forward to chopping it up with everyone. And I want to thank Mark J for joining me today on this impromptu podcast, audio podcast. And any last words here? Final words, Mark J?
Gotta keep chopping it up, bro, because that's all we want to do.
So all we want to do is chop it up.
That's all we want to do is chop it up, man. Just like to thank everybody for listening.